Happy Whitening Wednesday. I know a lot of you have been waiting to hear those words, and the hiatus is over. Whitening Wednesday's back. We're bringing back video as well because you asked for it. So, season 4, episode 1. I thought about how to launch this, you could say, season, and the team and I were talking, and they're like, just give it to them straight. Tell them what's been going on, why there was such a long hiatus, and then also tie in what's been going on in the market and tips on how to navigate and grow your business in these always changing market trends. So friend, are you ready to figure out, well, I should say not figure out, but hear where Mentorrach has been? Let's dive in.
Welcome to Whitening Wednesday. I'm Rach, your guide in the teethpreneur industry. Each week, I'll share insider tips, inspiring stories, and practical advice to elevate your business. Tune in and let's make your success shine. Friend, if your chairside whitening time is over 90 minutes, we need to chat. If you were to DM me right now and say, hey, Rach, I'm really struggling booking clients, the first thing I'm going to ask you is, how long is your service? And I bet you anything you are in this longer time frame. Friend, we don't have enough time in the day. Our patients don't have enough time in a day. You need to make sure that you are getting great results in the shortest amount of time, safe and effectively. If you are not aware of the Beyond 2 Ultra Accelerator, then we have a lot to talk about. If you're ready to advance your chairside whitening techniques and explode your teeth whitening business, join our accelerator webinar today. www.fernwhiteningsupplies.ca is where you're going to find monthly live webinars where you can learn all about the accelerator machine and how to grow your business. Let's get on with the show.
Okay, so first things first, solo episodes, there are going to be more of them this upcoming season because you requested them. Apparently you want to hear me talk. So cozier atmosphere, we'll kind of jazz that up as we go, but let's just get into it. If you are new here, I'm Rach. I'm the industry leader in all things teeth whitening and tooth gems. And I have a following, have a podcast, so grateful for it. And our podcast is being released weekly on Wednesdays until May. So we wrapped up season 3. We had a few season 4 episodes recorded, but like not the whole series, but that's why we're going to do some revamps, like just throwing out past episodes. And then we're going to dive into the new season. But Mentorrach kind of just hit a roadblock, okay? It was like, we were chugging along, and then I just couldn't do it anymore. In the sense of there was so much that just kept piling on and on and on, and nothing was moving. It's like we were so stagnant. So what am I talking about? If you are an OG follower, you'll remember back in the wintertime, it was in the new year, I want to say maybe it was February. Remember when that trending Fireball song was going around? I'm sure that like the tune is already in your head as I say that. So our team, our social team, Kelly put out a reel of me eye rolling at the old studio with that song and pretty much said, let's throw a fireball into the teeth whitening industry. It needs to become like completely brought down and rebuilt. And it didn't go viral, but like it definitely had a ton of traction. So many comments, so many shares, so many likes. And the response there was like, oh my goodness, absolutely. Like we need help in this industry. The unsafe products, the unsafe training, the bizarre things that technicians are doing because Sally Sue told them to is outrageous. And we're getting so much backlash from associations and providers with licenses, etc., because of the improper things that are happening in this unregulated industry. And I was getting that momentum. In the new year, I had literally drafted out pages and pages and pages and pages of this project our team was going to work on and launch into the second quarter. And this project was called the Teeth Whitening Association. Yes, I was going to take on building an association from scratch to not only help providers ensure that they were doing things properly and keeping their patients safe, but also to ensure that these crappy suppliers were not going to be getting the legitimacy that they were getting and were going to be removed from the industry. So this was my vision. My vision was to create a board of directors that was going to be very unbiased. So it wasn't just going to be people who have their own supply companies. It was literally like no one with a supply company was going to be allowed to sit on the board. We were going to interview and have providers as well as different industry leaders from the medical industry, the beauty industry, and the dental industry sprinkled all in here, because the full consensus was that we needed a board of directors to personally go through suppliers' trainings, actually see product MSDS sheets, see packaging, ensure that expiry dates as well as ingredients, proper instructions, like all these things were being done. So my vision was that we would create this association, have a board of directors and committees, like maybe that's training committees, product committees, etc. And we would pay them. And how we would pay them is if you were a legitimate supplier and had nothing to hide, then you would pay a fee to be promoted and put on the association's website so that you were like gold stamped in the sense of you have been approved, your training's legitimate, your products are legitimate. And then we would build this collection, and you would have to pay your dues to ensure that your name and links of your website to stay up on the association's website were completed. It's almost like, well, think of any other association. You have to do continuing education, you have to pay your membership dues, etc. So not only would the suppliers have to pay a fee to be put into the association, but any members that wanted to join the association also had to pay membership dues. And that again would give them free access to, again, continuing education as well as webinars, a committee support, customer service, etc. And that was to ensure, again, to weed out the non-legitimate suppliers and providers to the suppliers and providers who are giving their heart and soul and actually doing things properly. So that was my vision, was like, let's start something real. Let's talk about how that went. So obviously from the supplier side, I needed suppliers. I needed to make connections and ensure that, we could actually get suppliers who are claiming that they care so much about the industry and doing things right. Well, I thought there should be no reason that they wouldn't want to do this, because this is going to help them, this is going to help the industry, etc. So I didn't want to just throw out my idea right off the hop to these suppliers. So what I did is I reached out to literally any supplier you can think of in the industry. If that's a supplier with 100K followers or a supplier with 500 followers, I literally went all over the map. Different countries, different areas, like all over. And my pitch was, hey, do you want to come on the show? Actually chat with Mentorrach. And part of my pitch was, okay, if you want to come on the show, I have a really large audience base that is your direct audience. So if you do want to come on the show, you do have to pay a small advertising fee. Why did I do this? I wanted to ensure that if they were coming on the show, they first off were actually putting their heart and soul into it, right? But also, I knew right off the hop that if they're willing to pay a small advertising fee to get in front of my incredible audience, then they would be legitimate enough to pay, an actual fee to help build this association. So I was almost like a precursor test. It was like, okay, if you're willing to come and have a chat, actually open up, no gatekeeping, etc., and you're going to pay a small fee to get in front of your ideal audience, I'm sure you'll get purchases from it, then perfect. I do not kid you. We did not have one supplier that agreed to come on the show. There was a few that jumped on the opportunity but didn't read the full email or open the attachment link. And when they found out that there was a fee associated, they're like, nope. So that was interesting. Here's all these suppliers who claim that all they do is growth for the industry and that they know what they're talking about and that they want nothing but the best for you and your business. Yet alone, they don't even want to share their story, give us insights on what's going on with their product lines, etc. And they also wouldn't pay a small fee. So that was interesting. Either we would get crappy responses back, snarky responses back, no responses back at all, just leaving us on red. Or what was really interesting, which I was not expecting, is Mentorrach is blocked by a lot of so-called industry leaders and supply companies. That, I don't even think I need to elaborate on that. I think that's a pretty straight sign of what this industry is all about. So that was interesting because how am I supposed to build an association and full on list of approved companies if the companies won't even chat with me? So X that idea, but I still had hope. I said, okay, maybe we just run it with Fern. I don't know. So I'm like, let's think about the providers. So what was happening was Mentorrach was getting flooded with DMs and emails from lovely providers who had questions, complaints about either products that they were working with or their results, etc., etc. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. But what I couldn't get over and what was starting to take up so much of my time is I would give responses, tips, tricks, recommendations, and you just wouldn't do anything with it. You wouldn't make a change. You wouldn't listen to what I was saying. You wouldn't go read a textbook to show you the absorption process, to show you that water that you're telling your patients to drink prior is absolutely useless. It was just what is going on? So then I started to get this overwhelming sense of almost hopelessness, in the sense of, why would I put in so much time and effort and money if suppliers don't want to work with me and providers don't want to work with me? So snap. Association went out the door. I was really devastated because, like I said, I spent so much time and money on building out how this was going to work, had lawyers prep up how to actually start an association from a back-end legal perspective. It was crazy. So that just flagged me that this industry, until some sort of actual regulation, don't come at me in the comments saying, oh, teeth whitening is not regulated, or teeth whitening, I can't do that in my state, self-admin only, or you can't do that as a dental assistant, etc. No. Regardless of where you are, teeth whitening is unregulated. Show me one actual lawsuit case since early 2000s showing that you have actually been sent to court, put into a fine. The stuff that you are being fed in these awful Facebook groups or these horrendous thread chains is bullshit. Okay? At the end of the day, teeth whitening is impinging on a market, the dental market. The dental market is huge. They do not want you to be taking their clients. So, of course, there's stuff out there that says that, oh, you can't be doing this because you're not a dentist, etc. That's cool. You're not doing dental teeth whitening. You're doing cosmetic teeth whitening. There's insurance for it. There's public health checklists for it. Do not be fooled. You can do this. So don't comment anything on the comments on that because that is so yesterday. Let's get back to the point. Until there is an actual regulation around somebody like, say, an authority actually paying attention to products, don't come also at me saying, oh, the FDA or Health Canada, etc. If you think your products are approved by the FDA or Health Canada, you again are being fed lies. They do not care about cosmetic products. Your products have to be at a compliant facility and not hit hot list items. That's it. That's all. No one else is looking at your stuff. So that gel that you have from Alibaba, that gel that is full of fluoride, that ungodly amount of peroxide that you are putting on someone's teeth, you are totally working off of uneducated resources and supplies. And right now, there is not one person that's going to come for you. If you get sued, okay, and you're not following your insurance policy, yeah, you're going to get taken for everything, especially if you don't have your company set up properly. But knock on wood, that does not happen. So right now, until legitimate policies and procedures come into regulation, this industry is going to stay the wild, wild west. Okay? Point blank, Mentorrach dropped the association idea, and that's why I've been so quiet, because I've been really coming back to myself and figuring out I want to help make a difference, but I don't believe this industry is at a point yet where that can happen. I don't know if it's going to come to a point. So all I can do is just stay in my lane, put out truth on what I know, and let other companies and providers do their thing. There's just been so much that I have been going through from being in the industry and asked so many questions, but you would be so surprised at the amount of people that will chat with me, have great rapport, etc., then ghost me, or, you can tell that they're still watching you, but they won't respond to you. I mean, it's outrageous, this world right now. So that being said, I also was struggling with the podcast. So let's backtrack a little bit. Here's Mentorrach, who had this great idea about the association and then got hit in the face by suppliers and providers. And it's like, okay, no. Then what happened was, even though I was loving doing the podcast, having conversations, I was getting a lot of feedback from listeners who would be like, I'm really surprised you had X on the show. Your brand is very much about safe and effectiveness, etc. But here you are with X, and I've purchased those products. They do not come with all the things that you typically talk about. I've trained with X. The training's horrible. I had to go get trained elsewhere, etc. So then I started to question about like, oh no, like, have I put people in front of you that actually have a really good facade? Like, their social medias are super clean. They have lots of followers. They seem to know what they're talking about up front, but actually pulling back the curtain a bit, like, I guess I didn't do my due diligence enough. So then I really started to question about, okay, well, if I'm having these issues with like you personally DMing me and giving me insights of like things that I wasn't aware of. And then I actually there's been 3 guests from the past 3 seasons that have completely screwed me over. So like had them on the pod, we worked with them, SEO company, ads company, and as well, the conference. If you're not up to date on what happened with Lash Fest, go look up Scamfest. I believe that's the hashtag that was last rolling around. and go see what happened. It's outrageous, completely scammed. So here's 3 people that I've put in front of you that turned out to be legitimate fakes. The products that they put out were completely awful, projects not finished, like literally what was being sold didn't turn out to actually be what it was. I mean, the list goes on. So then not only was I being told via DMs and emails that my guests were like not the best choice, but then I personally over, depending on if it was 6, 8 months plus later, finishing up projects with these people that were on my podcast, then me personally getting screwed over by them. I was like, what do you do? Like, how can you tell that anyone is legitimate on social media or on Google, etc.? Because even just the 3 people that I had turned out an awful experience with, their socials are flawless. Their follower accounts are large. Their Google reviews are great. Where was there any flag that they were not legit? And it's just a sad time I think we are in here in 2024 with any service is how can you prove who's legit and who's not? How can you prove what products are legit and what's not? I mean, the standards are outrageous. So that was another kind of eye opener of, okay, Mentorrach needs to figure something out because this isn't working. I'm just answering questions and putting out so much heart and soul, but nothing's moving. Safety's not changing. It's almost like it was like all pouring out and nothing was getting refilled. The cup wasn't getting refilled. Then I got knocked down, lost a bunch of money with those 3 people. And then business was hit in the sense of, okay, now those 3 things that was promised through those different things that were purchased. Now I got to go find different companies, pay extra to have them done. Now I'm out more capital. I mean, it was just a season of wall after wall after wall after wall. So then what I found was the last piece of the puzzle was, I don't know if you kind of picked up on this, but when I would chat about my experience, I would only say that I was a dental professional. I wouldn't always mention that I was a DA, a dental assistant. And I did this purposely because I know the rocky grounds that dental assistants sit on. If you're not from the dental industry, you might not be aware, but dental assistants are very undervalued. And I don't know why there's this weird aura around them, but usually if you're a dental assistant, you're looked down upon in the dental industry. So here's a great example. As you know, if you're not new here, I have a long history of being in dental sales. So I would attend a lot of dental trade shows with different distributors. And this one trade show that I attended, the studio was opened and I really needed to source some sensitive toothpaste. So I'm at a huge conference and Sensodyne and Colgate are both there. I'm like, great, I'm going to go get myself on the sample list. If I have to pay for it, absolutely. But I just need to get an account started so I can get some more in the door at the studio. So I go up and there's this form you have to fill out. And it's pretty much prove that you're a dental professional. And it said RDH license number or your dentist license number, your actual practicing number. And I was I asked the sales rep and I'm oh, I'm a dental assistant. And he goes, oh, we can't give you samples. And I was what do you mean? And he goes, well, you're not considered a dental professional under the authority body of Sensodyne. This was Sensodyne. And I was come on. I have gone to school. I've worked in the field. Any dental assistant would know 10 times more than any executive at Sensodyne when it comes to dental. And you're telling me that I can't buy your toothpaste or get samples because I'm a dental assistant. And yeah, he straight up said no. He said, here's a contact number that you can put in a complaint with. but like, I can't give you an account. Okay. Go to Colgate. Exact same thing happened. I'm like, shut up. You're telling me that I can't get samples because I'm a dental assistant, not a hygienist or a dentist. Outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. So I complained to both the companies through like their claims thing that I had to do. Never heard back at all. So that's just like one example. I could go on forever and ever on how DAs are undervalued and underappreciated. So when I started the Mentorrach platform, I didn't push that I was a dental assistant because I knew of the pushback. So over the last few months, so ever since Mentorrach has been kind of quiet, Fern has been growing substantially. Like Fern's doing great. Fern's doing really well, which I'm so grateful for. But I had scrubs made up that said like whitening specialist, Rachel, and DA too, like that I'm a dental assistant level 2. And, I would have these phone calls and these email correspondences with different companies, if these are hygiene companies or dental offices, and rapport would be great, blah, 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 blah. We'd get on video calls. And the first thing, every single time, somebody would automatically look at my shirt and automatically start undermining me in the sense of I didn't know what I was talking about because I was a dental assistant. The amount of times that Fern would get booked for conferences or for CE or webinars, and the people on the other end would see that I was a dental assistant, it would just come straight out of their mouth. Oh, you're a dental assistant. But yet I know for a fact so many companies have sales reps with no dental background whatsoever, and they get treated like gold. But me, a dental assistant who knows exactly what you're going through in your day-to-day, knows so much more than that person with a business degree, is getting looked down upon. So then I was getting into these meetings and really having to prove myself that I knew what I was talking about right off the hop to get authority and to get that power back, because just because I'm a dental assistant, I was getting looked down upon. So that was another thing that I was like, oh, this is frustrating. Something as crazy as I was even booked to go on a dental podcast and to talk with a dentist and pitch the idea. We're going to talk about whitening products, etc. It was great. It was great. I got the read through the week before we were supposed to film, and it said Dr. Rachel Hicks. And I was like, oh, like just a heads up, I'm not a dentist. I'm a dental assistant. I just said I was a dental professional. I didn't say what I was by any standard. They just assumed I was a dentist. Must have been from the things I was talking about. They canceled my interview because I was a dental assistant. I am not kidding you. The amount of walls Mentorrach has had to grow through these past 6 months have been outrageous. Doors slammed in faces at every single turn. So that's also why I've been so quiet on my platform, because I've been trying to navigate where can I do the most good and where can I build the most authority. So it's been frustrating to say the least. And I hope that kind of gave you insight on why I've been quiet, why the show hasn't been on every Wednesday, and why also our socials have been so dark lately. But there's light at the end of the tunnel. I've kind of done some soul searching and have figured out where Mentorrach is needed the most. So absolutely still here to thrive and guide in the teeth whitening tooth gem landscape, but just on my own. I don't plan on working with companies. I don't plan on trying to help on a broader scale. I'm going to put my blinders on and just do my own thing. Definitely here to help, but just a little side-eyed. If you ask me for help and I give you a response, listen to it, or that was a waste of your time and my time. So just a little FYI. So what's Mentorrach going to look like? I hope you've noticed that we are starting a rebrand and there's a new website. as well as some really fun new options to work together. So the rebrand has really come off of kind of what's been going on in the market and the stories I just told you. So I'm done being screwed over. I'm done being belittled for being a dental assistant. And I am here to stand up for all teethpreneurs and a special little extra glitter for those dental assistants. I'm going to stand strong. I'm going to make it very apparent that I am a dental assistant who opened the first teeth whitening studio in Canada. I'm going to make it very clear that I'm a dental assistant who owns and runs the fastest growing teeth whitening supply company in North America. And I'm going to make it very clear that being a dental assistant doesn't mean that you don't know what you're talking about. So, fellow dental assistants, I hope you comment and feel that fire. We really need to stand our ground and make sure that we are no longer undervalued. So, Mentorrach is going to have a little extra spice of being a dental assistant in it. And I feel like that's going to help so many of you, regardless if you're a dental assistant or not, because I'm sure at some point along your journey, you have been undervalued and underdepreciated, regardless of what profession you're coming from. So I'm sure that will hit home and help you grow even more. Wrapping this section up, let's get to the market. What's been going on? Why Mentorrach has been so silent? Lots has been going on since Mentorrach has been so silent. Okay, so first thing I would say is the teeth whitening market is literally exploding. If you haven't noticed teeth whitening popping up more and more, open your blinds, open your curtains, because it is. The amount of people opening businesses is huge. Now, you might be thinking, oh, this isn't good. This is going to take away from my landscape of potential clients. No, it's good to have competition, and it's good that this is a trend that's becoming more popular because it means it's being asked for. So it's good that the industry is getting more providers. Now, what that also means is that if you're already providing the service, make sure your service is as tight and clean as possible, because if people are looking for it and there are going to be more options for it, you have to be a standout reason why they're choosing you. So if you are not the shortest chair time, if you are not the quickest results, quickest results, and if you are not, adding those extra goodies like some take homes or full pre-post steps, etc., you are going to get removed pretty quickly from the market. So do make sure that your sessions are flawless, your process is unique to you, and that your service space or model, if you're doing pop-up, etc., is very, very clean. What we find right now is that patients are looking for the most, I almost want to say bougie. Our patients are not looking for the cheapest thing anymore. They want the full experience. They want to ensure, I feel like kind of what we talked about in the scamming of social media, if they're paying for something, they want the most luxurious experience because they are putting their hard money into this. They don't want some hack job, right? They want you to be going the extra mile to actually give them a service, build that connection, and obviously provide them with a bright smile. So clean up your services. Make sure they are flawless. Now, what else has been going on in more so the supplier market? The supplier market has been really interesting. First thing is Zoom. If you're familiar with Zoom, one of the largest, most dinosaurish companies in the dental whitening space, they have been back ordered in Canada for 6 to 12 weeks, meaning that not one dentist or hygienist, because they won't sell the dental assistants, will be able to put Zoom gel on their clients in this time frame, which is outrageous. So that makes you think what's the landscape? What's the reason behind that? That's very odd, for a huge company to completely not be letting any products into a full country. I mean, think of the profit loss there. So there must be a huge glitch either in their supplies or into their process into Canada. I mean, crazy. So that's been a really interesting market trend. So another thing that's been really, really interesting to see is that there are now 4 Canadian teeth whitening supply companies that are out of business just within this year. That is a market highlight that you can't run chairside and supply companies at the same time. Choose a lane. If you feel really drawn to sell supplies, then focus on supplies. If you feel really drawn to do chairside, do chairside, because all 4 of these companies were dabbling with both of them. And at the end of the day, you cannot run 2 of those companies seamlessly, right? Because I mean, we could go on, but like your marketing efforts are going to be screwed, because why would your B2C clients care about your teeth whitening training? And then why would your B2B clients care about your special that you're running for date night? I mean, it gets so messy, and there's a reason why these companies have gone out of business, and it just came down to not choosing a lane. And what honestly the market is showing right now is the service. If you are looking to leave a job, if you are looking to build your own business, products are really skewed since there's such high revenue that you will make so much money so much quicker than a service-based business, because you also have a bigger market to sell to, right? It's not local to you. But there's this huge misconception about the difference between revenue and profit, and you are not going to make money with products. They're just going to tell you right now, the margins are so different. If you want to make money, yeah, you might, but it's going to be probably about 4 to 5 years by the time you pay off all the startup capital you've had to get, etc., to actually build a full product brand. It's not a quick and easy moneymaker as chairside services can be, right? You can make so much more profit for service than you can off of a product. So for example, let's say, let's use Fern as an example. Let's say I sell a signature gel for $37. Maybe my profit is profit margins are usually around like 25 to 30% in product world. So let's say I make 30% on a lucky day off of that syringe. Actual chairside service, your costs are probably between $25 to $35, and you're upcharging, let's say, anywhere from $200 to $250. I can't even do that math right now, but like you're profiting like 300%. So that is a great example of, even though you might not have as high of revenue numbers off the hop of running 2 businesses side by side, maybe in a day I can make $1,000 a lot quicker than you can. Maybe you've only made $300, but at the end of the day, I bet you've made more profit than I have off of products. So we need to put our business caps on and realize that products are not going to make you wealth quickly. Services are. So the market is showing those 4 companies closing as a great example. The supply industry is not where it's at if you need to make money quickly. The service-based industry is. So if you are dabbling with both right now, choose a lane. If you've been thinking about jumping into, say, the supply teaching industry, 4 companies just closed. I would really consider that again, especially because, let's be honest, a lot of the companies that are out right now are all private labeling the same product. You're just buying a different brand name. That's it. So if you are doing that, you're just going into a rat race of who's going to charge it for the cheapest amount. And then, I already just explained the profit littles that you get off of products. So if you're just fighting for lowest price, then by the time you add shipping, etc., you're not even going to make anything off your sale. So just really think about that. I do really see the service industry exploding, and the supplier industry is going to get rocky. So That being said, if you are a service-based provider, this is what I've personally seen in the market. Some of our providers are thriving, booked solid. Some providers are not. What's the difference? Really comes down to marketing, getting your business out there, your blueprint, and honestly, your will. The amount of people that will DM me and just like complain, I have no clients, or I don't know how this account is so busy, etc. Stop playing the comparison game, because your services are completely different than theirs. You could be working with the same product, the same light, etc. But depending on where you're located, your rapport with patients, if you're in an urban or a rural area, etc. I mean, there's so many differences. Don't play the compare game. Make sure that you're staying in your own lane. Be like Mentorrach, put your blinders on, because comparison's not going to get you anywhere. Hone in on your own service. You can be so busy right now because, again, teeth whitening is being asked for more and more and more and more and more. It is outrageous. So make sure you know what makes your business different. If you can't give me a 30-second elevator pitch on why you're superior than somebody else offering teeth whitening in your area, you have some homework to do, friend. So make sure you are a solid foundation on why you're doing your business and why patients need to get their smile brightened by you, and get out there and get rolling. So I'm looking at my sheet right now, and I wanted to keep this first episode more of like an update and kind of like a crystal ball on what's been going on in the industry. So I hope that this has been insightful, helpful, and also hopefully a little frustrating for you too, to know what I've been feeling in the industry, and to know that right now from the suppliers and different providers, it's just the change isn't wanting to be done yet. So I really look forward to helping you grow. There are so many different resources we can work together through on the new website. Of course, mentorship is still open. And you know that Fern has been doing some crazy new things with advanced technologies and products. So if you haven't checked that out yet, where have you been? But expect episodes every week rolling through, and there shouldn't be another hiatus from myself or the Mentorrach team. I'm so excited to get back into the groove and to help you grow your business. So until next Wednesday, friend, have a great week, and we'll chat soon.